Good afternoon, Miss Logan. And here is Aunt Carol's next installment of poems, and then I have a book for you also that I'm going to read. So, the poems I'm going to read come out of this book, which used to belong to, well, still does, I guess, to Aunt Meredith. It's called Sing a Song of Popcorn, and it's got a lot of cool poems in it. So, we'll start with this one. It's called What They Said. "It's 4 o'clock," said the clock. "It's still dark," said the lark. "What's that?" said the cat. "I want to sleep," said the sheep. "A bad habit," said the rabbit. "Of course," said the horse. "Let's have a spree," said the bee. "But where?" said the hare. "In the barrow," said the sparrow. "I'm too big," said the pig. "In the house," said the mouse. But the dog said, "Bow wow, it's too late now." Whoops. Flip it around here. Here's a picture it goes with it. Okay. I like that one. Here's another one I thought you'd like because I know that you have an apple tree in your yard and you guys make applesauce every year with it. It's called Our Tree. "When spring comes round, our apple tree is very full of flowers, and when a bird sits on a branch, the petals fall in showers. When summer comes, our apple tree is very full of green, and everywhere you look in it, there is a leafy screen. When autumn comes, our apple tree is full of things to eat. The apples hang from every branch, they tumble at our feet. When winter comes, our apple tree is full of snow and ice, and rabbits come to visit it. We think our tree is nice." And here is the picture of that tree. Uncle Randy, do you want to say hi to Logan?
I don't want to say hi to Logan.
Oh, you do too. Get over here.
Hi, Logan.
All right.
Where's Logan at?
Well, you can't see Logan.
Oh.
She can only see us.
Oh, well, does she talk?
No.
Is she talking?
No, I'm
to
just
you?
No, I'm recording.
Oh,
All right. Oh, this one is one of my favorites. It's called From the Adventures of Isabel. And here is the picture of Isabel and the bear. And here's the story that goes with it. Isabel met an enormous bear. Isabel didn't care. The bear was hungry. The bear was ravenous. The bear's big mouth was cruel and cavernous. The bear said, "Isabel, glad to meet you. How do, Isabel? Now I'll eat you." Isabel didn't worry. Isabel didn't scream or scurry. She washed her hands and she straightened her hair up, and then Isabel quietly ate the bear up. Once in a night as black as pitch, Isabel met a wicked old witch. The witch's face was cross and wrinkled. The witch's gums with teeth were sprinkled. "Ho, ho, Isabel," the old witch crowed. "I'll turn you into an ugly toad." Isabel didn't worry. Isabel didn't scream or scurry. She showed no rage and she showed no rancour, but she turned the witch into milk and drank her. Isabel met a hideous giant. Isabel continued self-reliant. The giant was hairy. The giant was horrid. He had one eye in the middle of his forehead. "Good morning, Isabel," the giant said. "I'll grind your bones to make my bread." Isabel didn't worry. Isabel didn't scream or scurry. She nibbled the zwieback that she always fed off, and when it was gone, she cut the giant's head off. All right. This one is called We Must Be Polite, or Lessons for Children on How to Behave Under Peculiar Circumstances. If we meet a gorilla, what shall we do? Two things we may do, if we so wish to do. Speak to the gorilla very, very respectfully. "How do you do, sir?" Or speak to him with less distinction of manner. "Hey, why don't you go back to where you came from?" If an elephant knocks on your door and asks for something to eat, there are two things to say. Tell him there are nothing but cold victuals in the house and he will do better next door. Or say, we have nothing but 6 bushels of potatoes. Will that be enough for your breakfast, sir? And here's a couple more. Here's this one. See the guy with the turnip head? Well, you'll get that in a little bit. And this is the kid that has all the backward stuff going on. Okay. So the first poem is, Oh, Did You Hear? Oh, did you hear? The president has measles. The principal has just burned down the school. Your hair is filled with jam and purple weasels. April Fool. If I were a sandwich, I'd sit on a plate, think of my middle until someone ate me. End of sandwich. Nicholas Ned. Nicholas Ned, he lost his head and put a turnip on instead. But then on me he could not see, so he thought it was night and he went to bed. And then if we walked on our hands instead of our feet, and we all ate paper instead of meat, what a mixed up place this world would be. What a mixed up, fixed up, topsy-turvy situation. If we wore our hats on our behinds, and all we ate were melon rinds, what a mixed up place this world would be. What a mixed up, fixed up, topsy-turvy situation. If babies worked while papas played, if the children gave orders and parents obeyed, what a mixed up place this world would be. What a mixed up, fixed up, topsy-turvy situation. Okay, that's all the poems from that book. And then I have another book to read to you, and it's called Did I Ever Tell You How Lucky You Are? And this is a Dr. Seuss book. I know you have Dr. Seuss books that Mommy and Daddy read to you. But this is my all-time favorite. Did I ever tell you how lucky you are? When I was quite young and quite small for my size, I met an old man in the desert of Dries, and he sang me a song I will never forget. At least, well, I haven't forgotten it yet. He sat in a terribly prickly place, but he sang with a sunny, sweet smile on his face. When you think things are bad, when you feel sour and blue, when you start to get mad, you should do what I do. Just tell yourself, ducky, you're really quite lucky. Some people are much more, oh, ever so much more, oh, muchly, much, much more unlucky than you. Be glad you don't work on the Bungle Bung Bridge that they're building across Boober Bay at Bum Ridge. Oh, it's a troublesome world. All the people who are in it are troubled with troubles almost every minute. You ought to be thankful a whole heaping lot for the places and people you're lucky you're not. Here's the Bungle Bung Bridge. Just suppose, for example, you lived in Gazate and got caught in that traffic on Zate, Highway 8. Oh my, look at this traffic jam. Goodness. Or suppose, just for instance, you lived in Gazare with your bedroom up here and your bathroom up there. So here's your bedroom, and here's the bathroom. Goodness, wouldn't that be terrible if you had to get up and go to the bathroom at night? Terrible. Suppose, just suppose, you were poor Herbie Hart, who has taken his thromdambulator apart. He never will get it together, I'm sure. He never will know if the gick or the gore fits into the scrucks or the snucks or the snore. Yes, Ducky, you're lucky you're not Herbie Hart, who has taken his thromdimbulator apart. Goodness, you'd never get that together again. Hold on, I'm going to close the door because Uncle Randy's making noise down in his shop. Okay, I'm back. Think they work you too hard? Think of poor Ollie Sard. He has to mow grass in his uncle's backyard. And it's quick-growing grass, and it grows as he mows it. The faster he mows it, the faster he grows it. And all that his stingy old uncle will pay for his shoving that mower around in that hay is the piffless pay of 2 duklas a day. And Ollie can't live on such piffless pay. So I can find him. Oh, there he is, mowing the fast-growing grass. So he has to paint flagpoles on Sundays in grooves. How lucky you are you don't live in his shoes. Oh my, look at these. Oh, there he is, up there painting the flagpole. And poor Mr. Bix. Every morning at 6, poor Mr. Bix has his borfin to fix. It doesn't seem fair, it just doesn't seem right. But his borfin just seems to go schlump every night. It schlumps in a heap, sadly needing repair. Bix figures it's due to the local night air. It takes him all day to unschlump it, and then the night air comes back and it schlumps once again. So don't you feel blue. Don't get down in the dumps. You're lucky you don't have a borfin that schlumps. There's Mr. Bix, and there's the borfin that schlumps. And while we're at it, consider the schlots, the crumple-horned, web-footed, green-bearded schlots, whose tail is untailed with unsolvable knots. If he isn't muchly more worse off than you, I'll eat my umbrella. That's just what I'll do. Oh, there's the schlot. See his tail in knots? Oh, my goodness. And you're lucky indeed you don't ride on a camel. To ride on a camel, you sit on a whammel. A whammel, you know, is sort of a saddle held on by a button that's known as a faddle. And boy, if your old whammel faddle gets loose, I'm telling you, Ducky, you're gone like a goose. And poor Mr. Potter, T-crosser, I-dotter. He has to cross T's and he has to dot I's in an I and T factory out in Van Nuys. Oh my goodness, look at all those I's and T's. Oh, goodness. Oh, the jobs people work at. Out west near Hotch Hotch, there's a Hotch Hotcher bee watcher. His job is to watch, is to keep both his eyes on the lazy town bee. A bee that is watched will work harder, you see. Well, he watched and he watched, but in spite of his watch, that bee didn't work any harder, not much. So then somebody said, our old bee watching man isn't bee watching as hard as he can. He ought to be watched by another Hotch Hotcher. The thing that we need is a bee watcher. Well, the bee watcher watched the bee watcher. He didn't watch well, so another Hotch Hotcher had to come in as a watcher. And today, all the Hotchers who live in Hotch Hotch are watching on watching the watchers watching that bee. You're not a Hotch Watcher. You're lucky, you see. So and then they're all watching each other. And how fortunate you're not Professor DeBreeze, who has spent the last 32 years, if you please, trying to teach Irish ducks how to read Javanese. Here's the ducks trying to learn how to read Javanese. And think of the poor puffing Pugelhorn players who have to parade down the Pugelhorn stairs every morning to wake up the Prince of Puboken. It's awful how often their pugels get broken. All right, there they are playing their pugels. And oh, just suppose you were poor Harry Haddo. Try as he will, he can't make any shadow. He thinks that perhaps something's wrong with his giz. And I think that, by golly, there probably is. See, everybody else has a shadow, but poor Harry Haddo, no shadow. And the brothers Bazoo, the poor brothers Bazoo. Suppose your hair grew like theirs happened to do. You think you're unlucky? I'm telling you, Ducky, some people are muchly, oh, ever so muchly more unlucky than you. Look at their beards, Logan. They're all linked together by their beards. Goodness. And suppose that you lived in that forest in France where the average young person just hasn't a chance to escape from the perilous pants-eating plants. But your pants are safe. You're a fortunate guy. And you ought to be shouting, "How lucky am I?" Oh, see the poor, oh, he's lost his pants to the pants-eating plants. Pants-eating plants, rather. And speaking of plants, you should be greatly gladish you're not Farmer Falkenberg's 17th radish. Okay, and there's all the radishes. And you can find one of them there that's about to get eaten by a worm. And you're so lucky you're not Gucky Gown, who lives by himself 90 miles out of town in the ruins of Ronk. Ronk is rather run down. And you're so lucky you're not a left sock, left behind by mistake in the caverns of Croc. See the sock left behind. The caverns of Croc. Goodness. And thank goodness for all of the things you are not. Thank goodness you're not something someone forgot and left all alone in some punkerish place like a rusty tin coat hanger hanging in space. That's why I say, Ducky, don't grumble, don't stew. Some critters are much, oh, ever so much, so much more unlucky than you. So, that's my favorite Dr. Seuss book, Logan. So I hope you like that. And I think our family is getting together to talk this evening, so I hope I'll get to see you then. But I'll make another one of these videos again for you soon. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.